How does anxiety affect your voice? We have all been there. We have all had a pivotal moment in a performance and we were really nervous and something happened, caused a lot of anxiety for us. And so what does that actually do? How does that impact your voice? Well, for one, it's going to cause tension. Anxiety makes our whole body squeeze and tighten up and flex every muscle that we didn't even know we had. If you've ever watched a scary movie, then you've experienced that tension in your body, like your whole body just engages and tenses up. And then finally it's over and you start to kind of let go, and then you've realized how much tension you've been holding on to because of that anxiety that you're dealing with. There's an increased heart rate. And then in turn, your increased heart rate affects your breathing. You might be breathing faster and heavier, and you might find that you run out of air in a phrase. It's all because of that increase of the heart rate. This can actually trigger our fight or flight response. That parasympathetic nervous system always trips up when we have anxiety when we're singing. And so when that happens, what do? How do we remedy that? If you can, in the moment, before you step out on stage, maybe you're side stage, maybe you're preparing to go out on stage, try something like box breathing, which is basically where you inhale for a certain number of counts, hold your breath a certain number, exhale a certain number, and then inhale again. And if you do this in counts of 4, then it's like drawing a box. So I'm going to inhale for 4 counts, and then I'm going to hold it for 4 seconds, and then I'm going to exhale for 4, hold again for 4, and do that for a minute and a half or so. Do it probably 7 or 8 times. You'll start to find yourself coming out of that fight or flight response. And even though you might still be uncomfortable in whatever moment that you're in, you will find that you have kind of come back into control over your emotional state. It helps us to be able to perform under pressure, whether that's on stage or just in life itself. You can still function even if you feel the pressure of whatever's going on in your circumstances. So try something like box breathing so that you can calm yourself out of a space of anxiety, because if you don't do anything about the anxiety that you feel, I promise you, you will experience that out of breath muscle tension problem that totally impacts your voice. You won't be as stable on a note, on a sustained note. You won't be able to access that power. And typically when you're fearful, your voice chooses the path of least resistance. We choose what we think is safer. We don't do what feels risky to us. And for instance, if singing a high note in your mix feels risky to you, even on a good day, then I promise you, when you're under the gun and you've got anxiety and you're on stage, you're going to default into either yelling that thing or just shrinking way, way back. Because both of those are going to feel a little bit more familiar to you if you haven't really, really trained that technical aspect of your voice to be your new default system. So make sure that you have a strong technique to support you, because things like that can really, really help when the pressure is on. You fall back on really, really grounded, anchored technique.